On the face of it, Sea Hero Quest could be just another mobile game. Cheerful, colorful, and with plenty of bite-sized levels intended to test memory and spatial awareness. But while you're captaining your little boat along snaking channels toward checkpoints, the game is watching you. It's scoring your spatial navigation skills, one of the first innate abilities dementia sufferers experience deterioration in. The data gathered is contributing towards a better understanding of what normal looks like. That's the benchmark of navigation skill across different demographics of people. The organizations behind the game are now back with a VR sequel and the goal of advancing dementia research even further with their gamified approach. The data from the playthroughs of the Sea Hero Quest mobile game is already revealing some interesting preliminary insights. Analysis shows differences in basic spatial navigation skill begins to show at around 19 years of age, suggesting that deterioration can begin earlier than expected, long before other hallmark symptoms of dementia start presenting themselves. Men and women also tend to employ different strategies to solve puzzles, choosing certain routes over others to complete a level, for example. And people from Nordic countries seem to be better than average at the game. These kind of observations are already telling scientists that different demographic and socio-economic factors produce different results. Sea Hero Quest VR has been created not only to renew momentum behind the Citizen Science project, but to also nourish a much richer data set. The premise of the game itself is a nod to one of the sadder outcomes of the progression of dementia. You take on the role of a sailor's son whose father is losing his memory. As you explore the various levels, you're effectively reliving entries in his journal, helping him remember the past. If you want, you can just play Sea Hero Quest VR, which is available now for free for Gear VR and Oculus Rift headsets. Like the mobile game, the VR title asks you to answer some questions about yourself, sex, age, location, and others, such as how you would rate your orientation skills. You can then opt out of sharing any data if you like, but the more information you provide, the more valuable your contribution really is. Virtual reality is being well received by the medical community. VR experiences show potential in the treatment of anxiety, stress, and depression, while others can raise awareness of disabilities or help us cope with the fear of death. Ultimately, there are no effective treatments for dementia and associated conditions like Alzheimer's disease just yet anyway, though the research does continue and everyone is hopeful. And now it's time for a weekly tech update product review. We're talking about the Shuawei, the Great Aussie Wave. If you don't know what that is, then you have never experienced the brutality of the Australian fly. Yes, I said fly. These creatures have always been annoying in America, but here down under, well, they're a menace to society. They try to fly and crawl into your nose, your ears, eyes, and if you haven't swallowed one yet, then you're not a true Aussie. They will even try to suffocate you with the pure number of them buzzing around your head. That's why I am a fan of Shuawei. I contacted the company recently about their new product and have been able to test them at home and at the hotel my wife runs with her partners. And if you eat food and deal with flies, you need a Shuawei. It's a device that you set next to your food and it keeps the flies away. It's essentially a lightweight propeller that spins above your meal and stops when you reach to grab food from a plate. At the end of the gently rotating blades are patented holograph-matic discs. It's an innovation the company says is the key to keeping irritating flies away. It takes 2 AA batteries, and after a few days of testing, they still have not died on me. In testing, the Shuawei works wonders and enables you to enjoy your meal indoors or out. You can purchase one Shuawei for $20 or get discounts for family packs, including free shipping on orders of 4 or more. Factoring in the cost, build quality, effectiveness, and the noise level, which is little to none, I give the Shuawei 5 out of 5 stars. For more information and to purchase your own, go to Shuawei.com. Despite what you might see in the movies, today's robots are still very limited in what they can do. They can be great for many repetitive tasks, but their inability to understand the nuances of human language makes them mostly useless for more complicated requests. Recently, researchers at MIT's Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Laboratory have gotten closer to making requests easier. In a new paper, they present an Alexa-like system that allows robots to understand a wide range of commands that require contextual knowledge about objects and their environments. They've dubbed the system Comtext, for commands in context. If you tell the system that the tool I put down is my tool, it adds that fact to its knowledge base. You can then update the robot with more information about other objects and have it execute a range of tasks like picking up different sets of objects based on different commands. Where humans understand the world as a collection of objects and people and abstract concepts, machines are very different. They view it as pixels, point clouds, and a 3D map generated from sensors. This semantic gap means that for robots to understand what we want them to do, well, they need a much richer representation of what we do and say. The team tested Comtext on Baxter, a 2-armed humanoid robot developed for Rethink Robotics. Things like dates, birthdays, and facts are forms of declarative memory. There are 2 kinds of declarative memory: semantic memory, which is based on general facts like the sky is blue, and then there's episodic memory, which is based on personal facts like remembering what happened at a party. Most approaches to robot learning have focused only on semantic memory, which obviously leaves a big knowledge gap about events and facts that may be relevant context for future actions. Comtext, meanwhile, can observe a range of visual and natural language to glean episodic memory about an object's size, shape, position, type, and even if it belongs to somebody. From this knowledge base, it can then reason, infer meaning, and respond to commands. With Comtext, Baxter was successful in executing the right command about 90% of the time. In the future, the team hopes to enable robots to understand more complicated information, such as multi-step commands, the intent of actions, and using properties about objects to interact with them more naturally. For example, if you tell a robot that one box on the table has crackers and one has sugar, and then ask the robot to go and pick up the snack, the hope is that the robot could deduce that the sugar is a raw material and therefore unlikely to be somebody's snack. By creating much less constrained interactions, this line of research could enable better communications for a range of robotic systems, from self-driving cars to household helpers.